Thank you for your interest in Peloton Minerals Corporation and for attending this webinar today. The term Peloton is the name for the main group of riders in a professional bicycle race, that's the Tour de France, and the aerodynamics of the Peloton cause for greater efficiency by working together, and often it appears that the Peloton will be breaking through its leading edge. Thus our slogan, and in many ways our company utilizes similar synergies for greater efficiency in project selection, the approach to a project, and the use of leading edge exploration technologies. And of course, occasionally we give one or two of our projects the yellow jersey. We could go to the next slide. This is the standard disclaimer safe harbor slide. I would add to that I'm going to assume that the majority of the participants today are familiar with gold or exploration, but are not necessarily technical people. And therefore, I will try to present in as non-technical of a manner as I can. For the technical people in the audience, I apologize, but I can certainly put you in touch with our senior geologist at a later date. Just so that you know, I'm an MBA, not a geologist, so I'm better to stick to the layman's version as it is. We could go to the next slide. Peloton at this stage is not a large company. We're fairly small at the moment, and really we're only just getting started. We're on a growth trajectory, and before outlining our future opportunities, it is important to provide a baseline on where we stand today. Our exchange listing, we're listed on the Canadian Security Exchange. The symbol is PMC. I might add to that just in the past week we've been included in the CSE Composite Index, which is a measure of the exchange itself. Also, we've applied and are in final stages for a dual listing on OTC QB market in the United States, which is a fairly significant venture market down there. It's actually a total larger market cap than the Toronto Stock Exchange venture. States, it's natural for us to gain a better listing in the United States to add for greater liquidity and, of course, the chairman and the securities lawyer. I think six of the directors have all served previously with companies on the board of companies that have put mines into production. And Leward Manning, our mining engineer, he's put mines into production throughout the world. And we're backed by a very strong consulting technical team, Richard Capps and John Childs. Both of them are PhDs and experts in the geology in Nevada. In fact, John Childs was formerly Barrick's head of exploration for Montana, amongst other places. We could go to the next slide. When I say that we're a mineral exploration company, it may seem at first to be rather obvious, but I think the point to be made here is that we are purely focused on exploration. We have no intention of ever mining anything. We want to bring projects forward or collect a number of high-quality exploration projects, advance them, and then monetize them, as I like to say, either by selling the company and perhaps spinning all the remaining projects out into a new company to dividend to the shareholders to start again or continue on, or sell the project, or in some cases we would look to bring in a joint venture partner to spend the next levels of exploration capital required to move the projects forward. Looking at some of our criteria, we are interested in projects that are in secure jurisdictions, that we can have good potential for size, I guess, shall we say, and also that we have potential to monetize. Currently, Peloton owns 100% interest in 4 gold exploration projects. 2 of them are located in Elko County, Nevada, which is a very significant gold producing region. One of them is located in the Virginia City Mining District of Montana. It's actually two past producing mines, high-grade mines on the same project or property. And then we're also involved in the Rainy River Gold Camp in Ontario, which is one of the hottest gold regions in Canada lately. For today's presentation, we're going to focus just on the Nevada projects, and we'll leave the others for a later date. The Golden Trail project is our original first project in Nevada. It's up in the northeast. That's a map of Nevada. That's the little gold star there is up in the northeast corner. And to the right, you'll see the lake. There's Salt Lake City in Utah. That's just gives you a general direction. And to the left, I guess, of the or west of the Golden Trail are the significant mines from the gold or from Carlin Trend and the Battle Mountain Trend, which are very significant. Nevada is, as I say, is a prolific gold region, and it's very mining friendly because of the extent of mining that's going on there. In fact, if Nevada were a country, it would rank 5th in the world in gold production as a country. Mine permitting, we found, is to be very reasonable and handled with considerable experience, likely because they've got more people with the government there that have more expertise than probably any other jurisdiction in the world. So there's no learning curve that you have to go through as far as the other side goes. Golden Trail is located on a new Carlin-style Nevada gold trend. It's also called the Pequot Gold Trend, and it's now actively being explored by ourselves and a number of other companies. There have been major new gold discoveries on the trend, 150 and 100 miles south of the Golden Trail. Long Canyon is located about 50 miles south of Golden Trail and was bought by Newmont, the large American company, in 2011 for a reported $2.3 billion. They took over a company called Frontier Minerals that discovered the Long Canyon, and I think Frontier started out at about 50 cents, and we're taken over at about $14 per share. Our project has been identified. There's a number of geologic similarities that have been identified between the geology of our project and the Long Canyon. And in fact, our project was featured at the 2015 Geologic Society of Nevada Symposium, and they themselves chose to place it under the category titled Carlin-style deposits. Next, there we go. This just illustrates the point I just made, that if Nevada was a country, it would actually rank 5th in the world in terms of total gold production. The USA number is total, and you can see that Nevada actually represents 80 or so percent of the entire production in the United States. Most of that, by the way, comes from production out of Elko County, where we are. This looks closer at that northeast corner of Nevada, and as I mentioned, the trend, that new trend that's been identified, it's alternatively called the Pequot Gold Trend because it's along the Pequot Mountains, or it's called the Northeastern Nevada Gold Trend. That's us at the top, the top red dot. To the south of us, 50 miles south, is Newmont's Long Canyon project. And then our Independence Valley project is it's about 29 miles from Long Canyon, but their step-out drilling where they are right now with Long Canyon, it's advanced. It's actually, they're only about 15 miles away from where we are at Independence Valley. And then a little further to the south, again, is the Mount Kinsley discovery, which has been made by Pilot Gold, which is also a very significant discovery. And so as this trend gets further attention, these showings and discoveries are starting to happen. It's becoming a very, very hot area, I guess, shall we say, for exploration. Certainly in all of the United States, this belt and this county is where you want to be. To review some of the surface results from the Golden Trail, we've identified that the gold is contained in decalcified limestone. It's actually oxidized material from down to the water table, which is about 500 feet, which is the same as the Long Canyon or as the Carlin style deposits. They're all typically in oxide material. The longest identified vein at Golden Trail has been traced on a surface for 1,200 meters with an associated 30-meter wide alteration package. Grab samples from this vein, there's been over 900 of them, have run from 0, which is as low as you can go, up to 28 grams per ton, which is right around an ounce per ton. So that's very significant to have that surface. Continuous 5-foot trench samples in 2014 returned in one case 13.7 grams of gold with 36.2 grams of silver in a 5-foot continuous trench sample. It was a type of limestone breccia. Another sample returned, a 5-foot sample, returned 3.49 grams of gold with 105 grams of silver, and that was over a continuous 5-foot as well in a jasperoid and limestone contact. Underlying all that gold that's at surface is a major geophysical gravity anomaly that has never been drilled, and at some point we will be turning our attention to that. Next slide. As I mentioned, the Geologic Society of Nevada, in their major, they have a symposium every 4 or 5 years. The last one in May 2015 featured the Golden Trail project, and they, as I say, placed it themselves in an area called the Carlin type deposits. We haven't yet started drilling in 3 dimensions, so I just want to say that it's not our idea to call it a deposit just yet. The technical paper was published at the symposium by Richard Capps, our senior geologist, and P. Noble and C. Jorgensen, who are well-respected structural geologists and geophysicists. That paper is available on our website, and again, at that same symposium, the GSN called the new trend that we're on. Their title for it was Nevada's newest Carlin trend. Next slide. Our work on the property so far, just I guess from the bottom, there's been a $1.4 million spent on surface exploration to date. The predecessor company before I came along, which is a few years ago, had drilled 4 vertical holes. They never drilled the veins. They drilled for structure straight down beside the veins, actually, in 2007. There's a 43101 technical report that we've also made available, or it's being filed, and it's on our website. And in this past year and a half, we've completed a cultural resource survey as part of our drilling permit application with the Bureau of Land Management. We've done some significant geochemical surface surveys, and also that continuous surface trenching that we spoke about. We've received our permits now for drilling. We're permitted on 11 different drill pads that follow that 1,100-meter long surface vein. And just recently we completed a hyperspectral airborne survey, flying the entire property using that hyperspectral imaging technology. And that we're just analyzing the results right now. That will probably be announced in the near future. This looks at the rock chip geochemistry and primarily the gold. The 1,200-meter long vein is actually faulted, so it's not in a precise straight line. It's been moved block faulted either one direction or the other. The red areas indicate the high gold values that have been received from either surface geochemistry or surface grab sampling or continuous trench 5-foot trench sampling. And that rectangle there is the claim block overlying all of that. Next slide. This looks, there's the rectangle again, and that looks at the major gravity anomaly that's lying at some depth underneath the claim block. Because of the fact that there is so much gold that is showing at surface, our next phase of drilling will be pretty much all near surface delineation of that, and our objective largely is to start to develop or prove up that project to gold values in 3 dimensions. At some point, though, we will get to what's going on further at greater depth. Again, just reviewing the exploration plans for 2016. We're past the permit renewal stage. We did buy ourselves a diamond drill rig last year, late last year, and that was delivered to us this summer. So we own our own diamond drill rig, which gives us a lot of flexibility for drilling, all kinds of near surface holes, and also timing and scope of projects. We also completed the hyperspectral airborne survey over the entire property earlier this year, and we've been analyzing that and mobilizing the drill and equipment and personnel over the course of August and September. We'll be underway drilling by October 1st, or right about there. And what we've planned on at a minimum, we've got 11 different drill pads on 11 different drill grid lines that cross the Golden Trail surface vein, and we plan on a minimum of 3 holes from each of those grid lines. We can drill more than that if we want, and because we own our own diamond drill, that's certainly likely that it'll happen on a number of those drill pads. In addition, each drill core will be put through a hyperspectral core analysis, and just to describe hyperspectral imaging for a moment, that is what they use when they send a probe to the moon or to Mars, for example. Hyperspectral is one of the techniques that they use to identify the rock types on the moon or on Mars. That technology is now being adapted for modern exploration, and it comes from the basis that every mineral or even species of mineral will give off a different electric wavelength. And so when a geologist is logging the drill core, and perhaps he's looking at 300 feet, and it all looks the same. It's all limestone, it's all white, it all looks the same. And then we run the hyperspectral over it, and quite often you'll find that it's being layered in at different times. So it's a different species of limestone. And as time goes on, when you've got that hyperspectral done across the one-dimension surface of the entire property, you start using hyperspectral imaging on the drill core, you start to be able to put together a 3-dimensional map very quickly. And the other thing it does, when you get to know which species of limestone is the type that you're most interested in terms of what's carrying the gold, you really start to become very efficient in your assaying and your exploration approach. Now we've come to the Independence Valley project in Elko as well. Again, it's on that new northeastern Nevada gold trend just to the south of Long Canyon. And we could move to the next slide. As I mentioned, it's a total of 77 miles south of the Golden Trail project. It's 29 miles south of Newmont's Long Canyon project, and they are now 15 miles south of us. Their step-out drilling at Long Canyon has advanced to within 15 miles of our property. In fact, they're at one end of the Independence Valley, and we're at the other end. The Spruce Mountain Mining District, again in the Pequot Mountains, it's hosted many, many gold and base metal mines with production dating back to the 1800s. Go to the next slide. There we are. This is just a Google map, just to give some general reference. Golden Trail at the top, red dot or red triangle, and Independence Valley toward the bottom. We're very close to Wells, Nevada, and also Elko, Nevada. Both projects we can drive right to them, so we've got full road access and availability. That lake to the right is actually Salt Lake City, or Salt Lake. Moving to the next map or slide, the smoking gun in the Spruce Mountain Mining District, and as far as the Independence Valley goes, is intrusive rhyolite dikes. They have been found in all of the mines or metal deposits that are being found in the Spruce Mountain Mining District. They're all associated with rhyolitic and granitic intrusive rocks. And just for background, rhyolite is actually a form of granite. It's very fine grained, because it pretty much came up to surface, or it vented to surface and cooled very quickly, is why it's fine grained. The type of granite that you see in say in a tombstone with the larger crystals, that would have cooled subsurface much slower. And in this case, the property was originally mapped by the U.S. Geological Survey, likely from an airborne, or pardon me, a satellite map or satellite picture. And rhyolite and limestone look very, very similar, especially in that context, or from a satellite. And so it was all mapped as just being plain old limestone. So there wasn't much reason for anybody to pay much attention to this spot. A number of years ago, the predecessor came across this project and realized that there was a large rhyolite dome there, and it causes some interest. Rhyolite is typically it indicates where the feeder vent occurred for both the granitic magmas and also for the gold, silver bearing mineralized fluids. The last point on the slide here, the Independence Valley project hosts the largest untested rhyolite dome that's been identified in the Spruce Mountain Mining District to date. Next slide. These are actually photographs of the rhyolite dome itself. That one up top, it's a great big hill, and then it's broken up down the picture below. Shows kind of the texture. It's the whole works is all broken up like that. Chris, our senior geologist, and myself actually went up and down that and staking that project earlier this summer. Next slide. This is a geology map showing the rhyolite, and the rhyolite is in orange. And there are the two black lines. There are two major faults that have been mapped from previous detailed geologic maps. And it is our hypothesis that those faults would be the feeder pipes for the rhyolite that we see there on the geologic map. But also what we're mainly interested in is the mineralized fluids and where did those go. Next slide is more of the same. This is a magnetic map of the property, and some of the higher mag values are showing in the rhyolite. Next slide. Again, we acquired this project earlier this year by staking. For background, the company's predecessor held this project and several others, about 7 in Nevada, back in the mid-2000s, and then at one point they ended up running out of gas, shall we say, and they started letting all these different projects go. And I came along in early 2010, 2011 to take over the company along with other people, and we got it cleaned up and started moving forward again. But because of the developments in the northeastern Nevada with that new Carlin style gold trend, it's caused us to go back into the filing cabinets and look at the data that we have on all of those prior projects, because back then it wasn't really known that there was a new gold trend in that area, and we started reviewing them with that in mind. We realized that this Independence Valley project had come open for staking, and so that's where Chris and I went and staked it. We have a considerable amount of data on the project already to start with. And so this fall through to December, the game plan with it is to do even greater detailed geologic mapping. We're looking at doing an ionic leach soil geochemistry survey, which is a method of looking deep geochemically for mineralization of the type that we would be looking for. Also surface geophysical surveys over those faults that we saw, either using an electromagnetic system or using an induced polarization IP system, or possibly both. And then from that we would complete a 43-101 technical report, which we've got the first draft of that, or Chris has got the first draft of that already prepared, but we would wait to include this other data in it before we file it. The objective for all of that is to define drill targets within and around that rhyolite dome, particularly likely in the area of those faults. Next slide. So just to summarize the projects again that we're holding, we have the Golden Trail project, which is a Carlin-style bulk tonnage open pit type target. It's located in the Wright County, in Elko County, Nevada. So is the Independence Valley project, which is an untested rhyolite dome, as we called it, the smoking gun. We also have the project in Montana backing the 2 Nevada ones up, which is 2 past producing gold mines on the same property. There we would be looking for a high-grade multiple vein bulk tonnage underground target, and we're involved with the Canada's newest and hottest, I think, gold camp, the Rainy River Gold Camp, and we'll be doing some work on that probably first in the spring. Next slide. For anyone that has greater interest or would like to receive more detailed information, our phone numbers are all here. Anyone is welcome to give myself a call, or Paul Theodorovich, our Vice President in Montreal, who's in charge of business development. And we're also represented by Paradox Public Relations, an investor relations firm in Montreal as well. That concludes my comments today. We thank you for attending. Again, we'll be starting our drill program right at the beginning of October. We'll be carrying on with exploration throughout the year on both the Golden Trail project in Nevada and also the Independence Valley project. Thank you once again.